What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. The road to WrestleMania continues with a stop in Phoenix, Arizona. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of the Red Brand, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Jon Moxley rips CM Punk, Punk has become the most hated man in wrestling, Tony Khan was stupid enough to let this happen, WWE bringing back the classic Hell in a Cell, WWE ditches the brand split, Randy Orton's new look, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new channel, Wrestlelamia Shorts. Now, as always, we won't recap the show, but just look at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Spellbinder Seth Rollins. Well, the WWE might want to bring back Seth Rollins' past gimmick, the Monday Night Messiah, as the Visionary showed he can mesmerize an audience with his promos and conduct a 15,000 person crowd like an orchestra. While Rollins can be eccentric at times, and that's putting it mildly, last night's promo showed he can be all business when he needs to. Rollins listed every reason he has to want to take Logan Paul out of WrestleMania, making it all too clear he has to defeat the man who has made a living off being a joke, or he'll look like a joke himself. Number 2, Mustafa Positive Ali. Mustafa Ali has been misused so much over the last 4 years, but his power of positivity gimmick, not to mention his ridiculous looking outfit, is so ludicrous that it actually might work. Ali doesn't have to win many matches, as the gimmick has the potential to entertain fans when he's outside of the ring, and give him enough time to connect with the fans, and the WWE can start giving him wins to see how things play out. Number 3, a sweet showcase. Last night's 8-man tag team match did exactly what its description said. It showcased all 4 teams participating in this weekend's men's Fatal 4-Way match, and even managed to find time to further the Maxine Dupree-Otis storyline. The match featured non-stop action, high spots galore, and some impressive feats of strength by the powerhouses on each side. The match climaxed with a fantastic high spot where Ricochet delivered a swanton off Braun Strowman's shoulders, and not to be outdone, Montez Ford jumped over Strowman, hitting a flying body press on Eric for the win. Number 4, Taming the Beast. Now, it's safe to say last night's Raw weigh-in between Omos and Lesnar predictably broke down into chaos. But what wasn't predictable was how Omos all but teamed the Beast, fending off a desperate attack by Brock Lesnar. Lesnar wasn't playing around when he grabbed the scale and attempted to batter the Nigerian Nightmare with it. However, Omos easily floored him with a kick, forcing Lesnar to bail out of the ring before Omos clobbered him with the scale. They outdid themselves, making Lesnar look like he's finally met his match. While we think their match will be more competitive, this was a strong setup. Number 5, Theory strikes back on the mic. Austin Theory's empty arena promo was just what the doctor ordered, as it gave a talented response he never got when John Cena eviscerated him on the microphone after Theory challenged him. Some fans and even some wrestlers question why Cena was allowed to all but bury the United States champion during their initial encounter. Last night, Theory delivered the goods, telling Cena he made the mistake of making things personal. Theory promised he would make Cena believe in him after their match at WrestleMania. Number 6, a good promo. Last night's Raw served as a pre-show of sorts for WrestleMania, much like WWE used to do before its PLEs, mixing interviews, matches, and hype videos into 3 hours of entertainment while getting fans pumped for this weekend's show. What really stood out about last night's show was that it found the right balance of hyping Mania while keeping the fans' interest in what was next. Number 7, entertaining hype videos. They've mastered the production of hype videos, creating beautiful looking and sounding videos to promote storylines, matches, and events. And Cody snapped Solo streak. It finally happened. Cody Rhodes delivered Solo Sikoa his first pinfall loss, defeating the Bloodline's unstoppable mayhem machine. While some critics might question Cody being the man to end it, as opposed to a younger star who presumably would benefit from the rub, there's no doubt Rhodes' win fits in well with his storyline chase of the Undisputed Championship. Rhodes has overcome every barrier in his way to Roman Reigns, leaving just one obstacle, what looks to be an epic match at Mania. Of course, if the WWE goes with another hack scenario of Roman escaping with the title by the skin of his teeth, this win won't be so important. But that was a good. What about the bad? As number 1, a sluggish start. Last night's Miz TV seemed like a good way to start Raw off by having the Miz annoy babyfaces Lita, Trish Stratus, and Becky Lynch before their Mania match against Damage Control. The segment started off with some fireworks, but didn't get time to build as Damage Control predictably interrupted things, leading to a boring exchange between the various parties. A part of the problem is that Bayley has to do the majority of the talking, which does nothing to help Dakota Kai and Io Sky get over. Number 2, lousy time management. The WWE needs to stop shortchanging its main event matches. Last night's Solo vs Cody bout didn't start until 10:45 PM, giving it hardly any time to develop. Solo's first loss shouldn't have happened in a 10-minute match, and they need to start giving its final matches the right amount of time. Now, there was obviously no Downright ugly. Last night's Raw was all about building up Mania, and they didn't hide its goal. Instead, it hyped the daylights out of this weekend's event while delivering a very solid show. But that was our review of Raw. What do you guys think of the Go Home episode of Raw? Let us know in the comments down below. Now let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at Moxley ripping CM Punk. On top of today's news is Jon Moxley's recent response to CM Punk blasting him on social media. Moxley recently appeared on his wife Renee Paquette's podcast, The Sessions, discussing several subjects including Punk criticizing him. Moxley made it clear that he wasn't under contract with AEW at the time, and that as far as he was concerned, I basically don't work there, for all intents and purposes. I don't even work here. Tony Khan is not my boss. I don't even have to be in this room. I don't even have to do ish. So even me being in this room and offering and agreeing to a storyline that puts you over at the pay-per-view, if anything, I'm bending over backwards for Tony. And for this dude, Punk. And for the company and everybody. I didn't have to do ish. If anything, I was bending over backwards. So that's it. Now, Moxley not being under contract also opened the door for what could have been one of wrestling's greatest betrayals, which is the subject of our next story, as Moxley could have entered WWE SummerSlam with the AEW Championship. Like seriously, Tony Khan was stupid for doing this. And Moxley talked about more than Punk's tirade. He also talked about how he could have changed the wrestling world at last year's SummerSlam by walking into the event with the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. This was because he wasn't even under contract. I could have walked into SummerSlam that night with the AEW belt. If I hadn't been so inclined, nobody knew because I don't put my ish out there in the world and let everybody know everything about my business, you know? I was not under contract. While there may have been legal repercussions for Moxley, you can be certain WWE would have welcomed the spectacle of seeing AEW's top star at the time showing up at the biggest party of the summer. That would have been incredibly embarrassing for Tony Khan and AEW. Fortunately for AEW and Khan, Moxley seems to have a code of honor that kept him from doing so. Some wrestlers may not have done the same thing. Next up, CM Punk is the most hated wrestler in the world right now. While Moxley seems to be taking the high road in regards to his comments with Punk, Pro Wrestling Torch's Wade Keller is reporting several top stars simply don't want Punk back. From what I can gather, the sentiment is that he's just not welcome back. The wrestlers don't want him back, the majority of wrestlers don't want him back. I would go so far as even saying that my sources are saying the mass majority of wrestlers don't want him back. One person said maybe 1 or 2 of the top third of the roster want him back. Punk doesn't get along with Hangman, Punk doesn't get along with Moxley, Punk doesn't get along with Kenny, Punk doesn't get along with the Bucks. Keller commented that he's not even sure if Punk and MJF get along at this point. If Wade's report is accurate, why would Khan bring back Punk, especially after his recent social media meltdown? Next up, WWE bringing back the old Hell in a Cell. How are the new in with the old? Wait, what? Actual good news? Yeah, good news for fans of the classic look Hell in a Cell cage, as rumor has it that WWE is ditching the red themed Hell in a Cell cage in favor of the classic look. PW Insider Elite reports that Edge vs Balor's match will feature the classic look that fans grew up watching superstars bludgeon each other. We hope that this means that WWE is retiring the cage fans nicknamed Hell in a Crate for its resemblance to a plastic milk crate. That specific cage, introduced in 2018, isn't easy on the eyes and it hinders fans from seeing what's going on in the cage. Next up, WWE ditches the brand split. If you're wondering what happened to WWE's brand-to-brand invitational rule that allowed wrestlers from one brand to show up on another brand once every 3 months, well, don't feel bad if you forgot about it, because the WWE has been ignoring it largely since its inception, and now Fightful Select reports that the rule is officially finished. As we reported several weeks back, the WWE made no pretense of a brand split during the build to WrestleMania, and it'll be interesting to see what happens after Mania. Next up, Cody promises a record-setting Pyro at Mania. A WrestleMania 39 is shaping up to be one of the most spectacular shows in years, and fans should expect plenty of fireworks in the ring when Rhodes challenges Roman Reigns. However, the American Nightmare is promising the fans will see an unparalleled amount of pyro during his entrance. Cody recently chatted with Amy Nemeti of Wrestling Joy about this, saying, "I think with the WrestleMania on the West Coast in Hollywood, it's the biggest display that's ever been done involving a ring. I don't think greatest can even cover it. I really don't. I think you're looking at a record-setting amount of pyro." Next up, Randy Orton's new look. There's interesting news on Randy Orton as he's sporting a new look. Randy's wife recently posted a picture of Orton and he shaved his facial hair. Some fans are commenting that Orton changes his look whenever he turns from heel to face and vice versa, so should fans expect a heel Randy when he makes his anticipated return? And finally, is Nikki Cross leaving? Last but not least, Raw superstar Nikki Cross took to social media to shoot down a rumor she's leaving WWE. Cross responded to someone who claims she's leaving in order to pursue her PhD. She replied, "This is the first time I've ever heard about this. Pretty sure I'm a reliable source. If I chose to pursue a PhD after my contemplating my masters in May, I wouldn't have taken the time off wrestling. I would do both, just to clarify." But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.